The shot rang out before anyone even had time to scream. One moment, the hotel hallway buzzed with voices, and the next, panic exploded like a wave. Guests ducked, security froze, and a little girl stood trembling near the elevator, staring at the man pointing a gun straight at her. But before the shooter's finger could tighten, a figure moved. Fast, instinctively, as if something deeper than fear had taken over. A single dad, an exhausted, overworked stranger with nothing to gain, threw himself in front of a child who wasn't his own. And as he whispered, "You're safe now," the world around them stopped. Before we dive into this powerful story of courage and kindness, make sure you subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. It truly helps our channel grow. Welcome to Echoes of Dad, where real stories remind us of the good still left in the world. Ethan Cole never considered himself a hero. He was a 38-year-old single father who worked double shifts as a night porter at the Carlton Grand Hotel in Chicago. Life had hardened his hands and softened his voice. His daughter, Mia, was 9, small, bright-eyed, and wise enough to know when her dad came home too tired to smile, she should just hug him tighter. Everything Ethan did was for her, every late night, every extra shift, every quiet sacrifice. That morning, he was covering someone else's early duty, a last-minute call from his manager who knew Ethan wouldn't say no. He needed the money. Mia needed new shoes. School pictures were coming up. Life didn't wait. He arrived through the back entrance, just as the city was waking up. Delivery trucks hummed. Streetlights flickered out. And he walked inside thinking it would be another ordinary day. He had no idea that within the hour, he would be standing between a stranger's child and a bullet. Amelia Hartfield, Millie to everyone who loved her, was the 6-year-old daughter of Victoria Hartfield, CEO of Hartfield Technologies. Victoria was powerful, wealthy, and constantly in the headlines. Her life was controlled, scheduled, guarded, but Millie? She was just a kid who liked sparkly shoes and drawing cats with giant round heads. Victoria had brought her that morning for a press meeting in the hotel ballroom. She usually kept Millie far from cameras, but her nanny had fallen sick. So, with a twinge of guilt and a whole lot of rushing, Victoria brought her along. Promising it would be quick, they checked in at the front desk. Security surrounded them like a bubble. Reporters waited upstairs. Everything was normal, until it wasn't. The man slipped through the lobby unnoticed. A disgruntled former contractor, angry, unstable, and desperate. He had lost everything: job, reputation, home. And in his spiraling rage, he blamed Victoria Hartfield for it all. That he wasn't looking for sympathy. He was looking for revenge. That he followed the group toward the elevators, hiding his trembling hands in his jacket. The security guards were distracted with scheduling changes. Victoria was reading a message. Millie was playing with her charm bracelet. No1 saw him reach for the gun. No1 except Ethan, who happened to round the corner carrying a stack of towels. For a second, he froze. His mind scrambled to make sense of the sight. A man pointing a weapon at a child. Everything inside of him screamed in different directions. Run, hide, call for help. But something deeper took command. That instinct that only a parent truly knows. That primal, unstoppable need to protect a child. Any child. The shot fired. Ethan didn't think. He moved. His body collided with Millie's as he shielded her, pushing her small frame to the floor, wrapping himself around her like a human shield. Then the pain came. Sharp, burning, shocking. The bullet tore into his shoulder, and the world blurred. Millie cried out beneath him. Security tackled the shooter. Victoria screamed as she ran forward. But all Ethan focused on was the little girl shaking under his arms. "You're safe now," he whispered again. Even as his vision dimmed, the chaos around them blurred into sirens and footsteps. EMTs rushed in. Blood spread across Ethan's shirt. But Mia, was all he thought about. "Please," he whispered to a paramedic, "call my daughter's school. Tell her, I'll be okay." He didn't know if he was lying or not. He just needed her to hear hope. Millie, still trembling, reached out and held his hand as they lifted him onto the stretcher. "Don't go," she cried. "You saved me." Ethan forced a weak smile. "That's what dads do," he whispered, even though Millie wasn't his daughter. News of the shooting raced across the city. Reporters scrambled. Headlines flared. "Single dad saves CEO's daughter from attack." But while people argued online about corporate responsibility and gun violence, something far quieter and more meaningful was happening behind closed doors. Victoria Hartfield, who had spent her entire life armored by wealth and control, found herself sitting alone in a hospital hallway, crying. Not the polished tears of a public figure, real tears, tears of fear, of guilt, of gratitude. She replayed the moment over and over, the man lifting his gun, the sound echoing through the hallway, and Ethan, this stranger, this father, throwing himself in front of her daughter without hesitation. She whispered, "Who does that? Who risks everything for someone they don't even know?" A nurse answered gently, "A good man." When Ethan woke after surgery, the first thing he saw was Mia curled up in a chair beside his bed. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but she broke into a big smile the moment he looked at her. "Daddy," she sobbed, climbing onto the bed carefully. "Why would you do that? Why would you jump in front of a bullet?" He brushed a hand through her hair. "Because someone's little girl needed me." She didn't reply. She just hugged him. Moments later, Victoria Hartfield walked in, but not like a CEO. No assistants. No heels. No cameras. Just a mother holding her daughter's hand. Millie let go and practically ran to Ethan's bedside. "Daddy Ethan," she cried, clinging to his arm. He blinked. "I'm not." "Yes, you are today," Millie insisted. Victoria stepped forward. Her voice caught somewhere between strength and vulnerability. "Mr. Cole, I owe you more than words can say." Ethan shook his head. "I just did what anyone would do." "No," she whispered. "Not everyone would. But you did." She placed a folder on his lap. Documents, forms, envelopes. Ethan frowned in confusion. "I don't need anything," he said softly. "This isn't charity," Victoria replied. "It's gratitude, and it's responsibility." She took a breath. "Your actions saved my daughter's life. And I intend to make sure your life, and your daughter's life, is never the same." Inside the folder was a full scholarship for Mia's education, private school, college, everything covered. A job offer for Ethan with better pay, better hours, and full benefits, and enough financial support to give them stability for the first time in years. Ethan stared at the papers, overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say." Victoria's voice softened. "Say yes. Let kindness come back to you." What happened next spread quietly across social media, not because Victoria posted it, but because hotel staff did. They talked about the single dad who never complained, the father who brought drawings from his daughter to hang in the staff room, the man who worked hard, loved harder, and never expected anything from anyone. People donated. Local businesses sent gifts. Mia's school held a kindness assembly in Ethan's honor. A local news anchor called him, a reminder that everyday heroes walk among us. But for Ethan, the real reward came weeks later. He was sitting on a park bench, arms still healing in a sling, watching Mia push Millie on a swing. The two girls laughed like they had been best friends their whole lives. Victoria sat beside him, watching them with a soft smile. "Do you regret stepping in?" she asked quietly. Ethan thought for a moment. "No," he said. "If someone threatened Mia, I'd want the whole world to jump in front of her. I guess I just became someone else's world for a second." Victoria nodded. "You remind me that kindness isn't small. It shifts everything it touches." Ethan chuckled. "Sometimes kindness hurts," he said, tapping his sling. "But it heals too," she replied. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan believed it. Kindness doesn't always look like grand speeches or perfect timing. Sometimes it looks like a tired father stepping forward when everyone else freezes. Sometimes it looks like a CEO realizing that gratitude is meant to be lived, not spoken. And sometimes it looks like two little girls laughing on a swing, safe because someone cared enough to act. The world can be loud, harsh, and unpredictable. But stories like Ethan's remind us that goodness still shows up, quietly, bravely, without needing applause. The next time you have a chance to offer kindness, big or small, take it. Step forward. You never know whose life you might change, or how it might change yours in return. Because kindness doesn't just save others, sometimes it saves us too.